like I mean it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Cafe Gallery right here at Gallery Cabaret. Aren't you all? You're awesome. There's a glimmer of hope with the weather getting better, and it's lasting for like 2 days, and it snows tomorrow or something again. But, oh, how I love winter. You know, I never checked. Did they ever figure out what that stupid, what was it? Gerbil groundhog. But did it do anything? Or
yeah.
Do we have? It's the 2nd of February.
It's on its shadow.
That means it'll be six
more weeks of winter.
Versus.
No, 6 more weeks of winter.
Exactly. We don't understand anything. Exactly. So who on earth cares? I was sitting here thinking that I wanted to do stuff for Valentine's Day, whoopee and such, but then I thought, wait, today is Lincoln's birthday and it's also my grandmother's birthday. So yeah, so I wrote something about my grandmother. And it's a sad piece, which is always appropriate for writing poetry and short prose. But the first thing I want to do, because everybody had asked before, why aren't you singing stuff with John on the guitar? And he just got back into town and he's not feeling well. But he's like, all right, we'll do this one. You guys like this one? I like it. God, it's been so long it's been a while since we've done this one. Actually, I was just recently at Waiting for the Bus, and Charlie Newman was there, and he was talking about Genesis and how it was really good. And Peter Gabriel went off on his own, and he was awesome. And you know, Genesis did a little stuff, and there were a couple talented people in that band. None of them were Phil Collins. That was so awesome, because we both happen to like Peter Gabriel, and this was a song that I did before I met John. This is Washing of the Water.
Okay.
River, river, carry me on, living river, carry me on, river, river, carry me on, to the place where I come from. So deep and so wide, will you take me on your back for a ride? And if I should fall, would you swallow me deep inside? River, show me how to float, 'cause I feel like I'm sinking down. Thought that I could get along, but here in this water, my feet don't touch the ground. I need something to turn myself around. Going away, away toward the sea. River deep, can you lift up and carry me? I'll run out through the heartland until the sun has left the sky. River, river, carry me high until the washing of the water will make it all alright. Let your waters reach me like he reached me tonight. Letting go, it's so hard, the way it's hurting now, to get this love untied. It's sure tough to stay with this thing, 'cause if I follow through, I'll face without denial. I'll get those hooks out of me, and and then I'll take out the hooks that I sunk deep in your side. Kill this fear of emptiness, the loneliness I hide. River, oh river, river running deep, bring me something that'll let me get to sleep. In the washing of the water, will you take it all away? Bring me something to take this pain away.
All right.
Thank you, and thank you, Sean.
The descending microphone.
And the descending and the ever-descending microphone. And thank you very much, and thank you. And I hope you feel better because you haven't been doing well since your trip, your return, your flight. Flying on an airplane for 30 hours kind of didn't work for him, and so he's not very happy right now, which makes me very sad. But as I was saying, I wanted to, this thing sucks. I am sorry. I wanted to be able to read, if I'm ever going to get it, a piece that I wrote about my grandmother. A prose, short fiction, prose poem piece. Because her birthday was on Lincoln's birthday, and I remember when I was 11 or what, we'd go somewhere, and I'm like, happy birthday, and I was singing, happy birthday, dear Lincoln. I was such an idiot kid, but this was a piece that I wrote called The Life Goes By. 1978, Mom and Dad on vacation, sister in college, Grandma babysits. She taught me how to play gin rummy in the living room. I smudged the finish on the wood table every time I put my hand on it. We played cards for hours. 1983, Grandma is over to babysit. Sister comes home. Why isn't dinner ready, Grandma? I didn't know how to turn on the oven. She was a sly old fox, my sister said. She knew how to turn an oven on. Caught out of having make dinner, but the chicken camp was a half hour late. 1986, spring. Friday, 4:55 p.m. Mom and Dad and sister dressed for dinner. Dad is waiting for Mom at the door. They still had to pick up Grandma before they drove to Mike Moy's restaurant. Mom is checking her eye makeup in the bedroom mirror. I stand in the doorway to a room. Are you sure you don't want to go with us? She asks. I'd rather stay in the house by myself, play loud music. I was a rebellious youth. I say no. Tell Grandma I said hi. 1988. Sister calls. Grandma is moving to Arizona, she says. She's going to live with Aunt Rose. She leaves in 5 days. 3 days later, I call her. I tell her I will try to visit her next summer. I tell her I will miss her. I already do miss her. She says she loves me. I hang up, thinking that she normally doesn't say that she loves people. She isn't usually affectionate. I start to cry. 3 days later, I visit family. Father hugs me. He hiccups while crying. She died this morning, they explained to me. But don't worry about that now. We're late for the Christmas party. I'm in a car. Sister is driving to the family party. We are quiet. She finally speaks. Are you okay? And I tell her that I will be fine. What she doesn't realize is that I don't say that I am fine. I look at her face. She turns her head from the road to look at me. I notice how we really do look alike. Something in Sister is dead. She is hiding the pain, and it is killing a piece of her. I think a part of me is dying, too. At the party, everyone is laughing. Brothers, sisters, nephews, a niece, an uncle. A sister-in-law says to me as she says hello, I'm sorry. I try to get drunk on punch. Sister pulls out a pile of presents for the family. They are from Grandma. Jesus Christ, she died this morning. Somebody say something. She bought me a pair of earrings. I was actually going to wear nice, heart earrings, but I'm like, I have to wear the earrings Grandma gave me. I'm like, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm like, and I actually get compliments on them still. I'm like, oh, my Grandma, and she picked them up for me. But anyway, she didn't know me very well, and I always want to have Joffrey come first, and you came. So you're gonna have to go second. I'm not letting you go first because I already talked it over with Len over there, and I said you're going up first. So please, ladies and gentlemen, poetry, prose, stripping, singing. I don't care what. Well, as long as it's legal enough. There
you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Len. Get out of here, Len.
I will not be stripping. The last thing my great-granddaughter needs to hear. Anyway, my name's Len. I always think of these things as sort of anti-12 steps. My name's Len, and I really want to keep on being a writer. Apropos of almost Valentine's Day, a couple of short prose poems sort of things. The first one's called Looking Forward. The man looks across the room at the woman. She was beautiful, wasn't quite the word, limited to appearance in too many ways. Perfect carried too much expectation. Making him happy? Yes, that was what she was, which meant he was heart-swelling happy, like blissful sex or a crystal winter's evening. His whole very being was firmly rooted in this moment. The woman turned in her chair, gestured to a person across the room to join them, then another, and still more others. When a crowd of men and women was arranged behind her, she turned back to the man and spoke. Honey, I want you to meet some people. This is Mike, pointing to a tall man with a guitar case slung over his shoulder. When I meet him next week, I'll be dumping you like a bag of used cat litter. That's what I did to George here when I met you. And she indicated an executive-looking man. You can go away now, George. Thanks. And let's see. These are Joe, Tina, Norma, Ben, and, another Mike. No particular order. They'll all be sharing my bed at some point in the coming years. Some of them at the same time. She waved vaguely at the group, looked at them. A couple of you, I can't remember your name right now. I'm really sorry, but it'll probably come to me. You're just what's called a representative sample, remember, so this sort of thing's bound to happen. Ashen-faced, trembling, the man continued to look across the table at the woman. He couldn't bear to look at the people she'd called over. But, he spoke, I thought we were in love. Doesn't the time we've been together mean anything to you? Well, of course, she replied and smiled happily. Please, don't get me wrong. 20 years from now, I'll grin like the Cheshire Cat when I think about you. And you'll be one of only, 2 or 3 who will remember me much at all. Listen, and she reached across the table to touch his hand, to keep his attention. Listen, I'm really looking forward to these next few days. Anti-Valentine's Day. And we won't say anything about who the young lady was. The other piece, let's see, almost 2 years ago now. I wrote this for my wife on our 44th anniversary.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, I earn a lot of brownie points with women because I know everything about our first date, including when it was, what she wore.
Fabulous.
That's how I've stayed married so long. Anyway.
Where's your brother?
Where's my brother?
Yeah.
he's in divorce court over his third wife.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, you got all the marriage points.
I think so, yes. You know, and with 3 daughters,
Oh,
2 of our grandkids are girls, and we have a great-granddaughter. I'm so outnumbered, I know how to behave.
there you go.
Yeah, let's face it. Thank you. Thank you. I'll make sure my wife sees this and hears the applause. Anyway, this is called running errands. John and Marcia sit in their car trying to decide where to go for lunch. It's Sunday, so hot dogs are out, unless you want to go to the other side of town, he says. Reaching into her purse, she pulls out some coupons. Not necessarily. We've got Billy's Club, Dharma Buns, and gyros over at Kismet. Or we can always, and she begins to rummage through her purse. John waits on the edge of the incomplete sentence. The sounds of traffic from the highway flow through the windows, the rumble of a passing semi, the muted wail of distant sirens marking the low and high ranges. Someone honks their car's horn as soon as the light turns green, hurrying to get somewhere far less important than they imagine. A clattering shopping cart from the fabric store across the lot strikes a discordant percussion beat, then halts in a metallic crash of cart against cart in the corral. They've been married for 42 years, 3 children, 6 grandchildren. The pauses come more frequently these days, with both of them contributing their share. He reaches to touch the back of her hand with his, and in the eye blink before Marcia resumes her sentence, John's heart smiles as he realizes how lucky he is. That is not an anti-Valentine's. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. All the good ones are taken. All the good ones.
Yeah, my wife is taken.
Oh, that is the crap you're supposed to say.
Well, you know.
And so now I have to do the test on it because I'm married to John. When was our first date?
January?
He called
We
me.
have a debate, whether it's the 27th or the 29th.
He called me from India and said, "Happy anniversary from our first date."
Oh, lovely.
I'm like, oh my God, I've been working on it. I didn't even think about that. So yeah, he's not having that. But hey, the new issues of CC&D and Down the Dirt are out, and I don't
She
feel like.
wore blue jeans that had a tear in them, like, what's her name?
Like who?
That singer from, that sounds like,
Pat Benatar?
not Pat
Where was the
Benatar.
tear?
Oh, everybody.
In the
Who has
knee.
hair?
In the knee.
Oh God! Oh freaking! You're making a joke of like Debbie Gibson, that
Debbie
stupid
Gibson,
friend.
yeah,
No, I
yeah,
did
Debbie
not.
Gibson,
I did not. Oh my God! I mean, I know I had ripped jeans, but that's really funny. So oh yeah, because I had said, oh, are we supposed to be dressing up here? No, I'm not. So I made a point to put on like some V-neck gray loose thing, which I still have, and just torn up jeans. And I remember all of that. And you're like naming the jeans, you freak. And the bar that we went to is closed. We go back there and I'm like, it makes me sad. Why am I talking about this stuff? Because I should be talking about the new issues of CC&D and Down on the Dirt that have just been released. I will show off Down on the Dirt to you momentarily. But this is, and yes, because they're also released as ISBN number books that are available for sale through Amazon, through the United States, as well as Europe and Great Britain, they get names, and this one is called A Link in the Chain, because this actually happens to have cover art from Oz Hardwick from Leeds, which I believe he bought a copy. I think I saw that in the records. I'm like, oh God, there were Great Britain, there were poems that were paid for this. What a riot. Sorry. And I just thought that I would read a really short piece in here because sometimes this next guy, Joffrey, who's going to be our open micer, has things that talk about religion in some way. And that's just the only reason why I'm doing this. And this is called, it's really short, called Even If the Pope Claims It. It's really short.
Even if the Pope what?
Claims it.
Oh, okay.
A past pope was just canonized for sainthood by the current pope because he performed 2 miracles. But Catholic school taught that Jesus was the last person that did a miracle by ascending to heaven, and that there would be no miracles until he returns. So, all the miracles people claim now are not the work of the Lord Jesus Christ, but of Satan. Even if the Pope claims it. There's just a little one in there. Even if the Pope claims it, exactly. I don't think thought I'd throw that one out there. You gotta kick out on that one. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Joffrey. Come on up here, darling. Get on up here, Rachel. You can clap for you. Get on up here.
I'll do 3, 2 of them mine. First one is from the War Crimes Times. Find it. It was written in 1990 by Lemmy Kilmister. Those of you who follow rock music, that means something to you maybe. The title is, well, I need my glasses. The title is 1916. "16 years old when I went to the war to fight for a land fit for heroes. God on my side and a gun in my hand, chasing my days down to 0. And I marched and I fought and I bled and I died and I never did get any older. But I knew at the time that a year in the line is a long enough life for a soldier. We all volunteered and we wrote down our names and we added 2 years to our ages. Eager for life and ahead of the game, ready for history's pages. And we brawled and we fought and we whored till we stood 10,000 shoulder to shoulder. Athirst for the Hun, we were food for the gun. And that's what you are when you're soldiers. I heard my friend cry and he sank to his knees, coughing blood as he screamed for his mother. And I fell by his side and that's how we died, clinging like kids to each other. And I lay in the mud and the guts and the blood and I wept as his body grew colder. And I called for my mother and she never came. Though it wasn't my fault, and I wasn't to blame. The day not half over and 10,000 slain, and now there's nobody remembers our names. And that's how it is for a soldier. And this is my homage to Valentine's Day, such as it is, or would be, titled, Mulling Around Vanunu. Wintering discontents as hell seems to boil over through vents in the asphalt, I dimly recall rumors of an Arab facing transfer from one prison called Land of the Free to another prison of the international state system, and wonder if a possible going away event should highlight Vanunu, more unfree than a Palestinian in that democracy called Israel, which demonstrates democracy by routinely opening mail from anywhere, as with any Florentine inmate in the red, not communist, but red state of Colorado, famous for a dark night rising on a midnight stage of fantasy discontents, armed by hypno-programming, apparently the same programming that retires a congresswoman from office, with only poetry, not disconnecting media, to connect things up in a stream of consciousness of the imminence of the Valentine's Day, celebrating the love that does nothing to stymie the CIA. CIA managed chaos in Syria, where inhabitants of a city, sister to Chicago by ranking, are reduced to concentration camp conditions by Zion's holocaustic process of necessitating misery round about itself. Vanunu within. And this is the one you have. It shows how slow I am to get things done, the title does. 57 days before birthday of Martin Luther King, observed. The last day of Hanukkah comes on December 4 for 44th anniversary for the assassination of not Mark Clark, who paraded through Rome while the German army got away into that excellently defensible Italy, delivered back to the mafia while Hitler softened up Russia for Churchill, and where my friend Alvin Compton lost a leg. And also Fred Hampton, 3 days before FDR set up the fleet at and for Pearl Harbor, the safest space available for getting USA into that second great war for Israel, 6 years after the assassination of Huey Long, expected to be too much like a pacifist in politics, perhaps foreshadowed by his death coming the day before he wanted to register blacks to vote, which did come when the grunts count was 500,000 in Vietnam. And a guy I don't remember, but who might have heard me read poetry like this, didn't come back to vote for CIA and atomic bomb, which gets slated before any candidate is picked. From a smorgasbord, offering as many as 43 ways to vote Israel on the backs of the Palestinians, and the covert ways and means to get Young and McCullough pointing the wrong way, covering for assassins of Martin Luther King. I knew him too. But the Hanukkah Hampton Christmas season is different. By the 50th anniversary for JFK assassination, not coming in same week, we give thanks. And rarely do I have such a lead up as this to close. In closing in the poem, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think they really liked your shoulder poem. Just letting you know, in case you couldn't tell. Sorry. I was talking to, or I was hearing earlier today that tomorrow, because 2 days from now is Valentine's Day, tomorrow is what they call Cheaters Day, which means that men who, you know, have mistresses and the like can take them out tomorrow, which wouldn't be Valentine's Day, but at least they get something, right? And so I was just laughing, and I'm like, I looked at John, I'm like, so should I find some guy to go out with tomorrow? And he's like, sure. And I'm like, yeah, and Gerry Reynolds is like me, and I was like, well, all I could think of is my sidekick, Bob Rashkow, or the guy who's going to be doing a book, Patrick Hurley, and I'm like, you know, I'm just hanging out. No, we're just making jokes here. But I did make John, I think, feel bad. So before I invite up Kimberly, who will be our next reader, I was going to read a poem that I wrote for you for Valentine's Day.
Aww.
It's not all like this. This is called depth of field. When I looked for you at the crowded train station, the masses grew dense as I craned my neck until I saw your head emerging from the sea. Suddenly, I couldn't escape you. You seemed so crystal clear than that crowded, crazed commuter crowd, because everything blurred away as my focus grew sharper on you, perfectly framed in my depth of field. To this day, when I see you outside coming toward me, I first see you at a distance, but when I see you, it seems everything about you comes sharply into focus, and everything else in the world fades into the background. You don't know this, but when we face each other, seated for a meal, I sometimes stare at your temples, or maybe the space under your earlobe. I just look. At times like these, I want to capture every inch, every minute detail of you, store it in my memory, so I can have that sharp image of you always in my mind. I thought something gooey and girly sounding would be appropriate to call up an awesome girl up here. Give it up for Kimberly! Come on up, and this can be flattened up. Oh, that spot here, woman. Get on.
No, I said strong enough to hold my.
And I'll hold it for you like a centurion or something. What does that mean, like a centurion?
Hello, my name is Kimberly, and I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic. Oh, wrong place. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This poem, my name is Kimberly, and I'm all those things and more. This is a, I don't know if you guys can see this, that my son is a grown man now. There's a picture of him right there. Can you see him? Can you see, everybody see that cool pose he's striking in the subway where he shares his rap music with everyone? He's a moody young person. Very talented and very, very going through, as they say. And I wrote this for him as he's going through all those pains and aches and of being an adult. And it's called Slipping into Darkness. Shh, hush, just listen. I will come for you like Black Hawk down. You will not be held prisoner for very long. When a dark, deep, dark cavern in your soul sucks you down, when you feel as if you've lost all ground, when your world starts to spiral round and round and round, you are not alone. Feel as separate as you wish, like an odd duck or the uncooked dish. Know that when everyone around you is gone, I will come for you like Black Hawk down. In the secret place where your mind folds over and over, when you're lost in a field of burning clover, when you dive into the place and all you feel is shame, where your mind can't erase nor forget your pain, when you want to release it all and say it's over, when your world has been flattened by a giant bulldozer, when you reach the spot of that jumping off place, when you attempt to walk off the edge of space, I will search for you no matter how far down you go. I will drag you out or call a tow. I will never let you be consumed by the flame. I'll be waving a flashlight and calling your name.
Portray. I only have one, just do it one, this is how I roll.
It's her way, baby.
And I was just thinking, well, see, I'm like, I'll prop this up, get a laptop on it. I mean, mine's a lighter laptop thing, but it could fit on there. You can do anything you want. And now, I am thinking that it is time, because I'm tired of running this place by myself, and I think there's some awesome sidekick here, so I really want to hear it, and I think you all do too, from the Bobs himself. Give it up for Bob Rashkow! Woo!
Okay, the first one is, I read this 4 weeks ago here. This is for Bennett, 1957 to 2014. You pinned me to the ground at 10. Do you remember then? You sang a little bit. Look out, here comes tomorrow. Egging me on while your older sister snug in her chair and her ranking kept humming Gershwin tunes. Where is your sweet grin today? I can't find words to say. You're leaving. You're fading away, floating out into the vast horizon in an ice cream candy boat. Do you see me in the crowd, shyly waving, wiping tears, looking for life in your impending end? Oh man, if I could go back there, I'd be the one. I'd take you down and down and down and down. You'll laugh because the music is funny. You'll hand me the trophy and I'll sail away into the vast horizon. And this is called Fall's Breath. I wrote this at Elaine Wagner's nature workshop. Here it is. Fall's breath. So near, yet so far away, today sunshine streams down on nature's gifts, illuminating the sweet greens and yellows where the sun cannot reach through. There is cold air. This, then, is the story, the tale told by this idiot, full of brilliant light and chilly black, signifying the seasons of life. Winter will come. It will creep up on us, on me, sighing its icy, hissing sneers, closing and locking nature's doors, offering only the gift of a million different flake patterns, and rivers hypnotized into inactivity by the early fog of dark. But not yet. I will cling to the summer season, so long as there is that shining, colorful beam of giving, of high, happy seasons, recalled and anticipated. And this last one is based on a news item that I read about one of our fabulous military spending wastes. Emptiness paid for, soon to be filled. Just because it exists in a void, in a faraway place no sane American would ever visit. Ever visit Afghanistan for the thrill of it? For fun in the sun? The sun still drenches us with the heat of its motherly grace. Grace means masturbatory satisfaction to the Pentagon dickheads who appropriated this huge land. Land, on your feet for a change. Smell your own cum. It's a gift from the sun. Thank you.
Hi, I think I'm just going to walk in right when you're walking through in a difficult spot and make it really difficult and uncomfortable. Dun, dun, dun. And there's a pen. I don't know whose pen this is, but it's not mine, but it's somebody's, because they're worth it. I had said, and I'm really thrilled and pleased, I was talking bits and pieces with this guy from Waterflight Press, and I'm glad that he's here tonight. It makes me very happy when he's around. He's also very calming. I like, he's a very calming, pleasing voice when you listen to him. Although if you have a long day, you'll be like, oh, I think I'm gonna fall asleep. No, I have no idea. I have no idea how big. Well, I think he's awesome, and he's an awesome guy. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Patrick Hurley.
Yeah.
So in the near future, look for Unzipped Body Bag by Janet Kuypers, published under Water of Life Press.
Hey.
So I'm going to read from Screws Fall Out, my most recent book. I have copies. If you'd like to buy them, I'm unemployed, so help me out.
Oh, right.
And he's got the coolest covers on them. They're all made out of paper.
Everyone
bags.
is unique.
They're awesome.
Wonderful.
looking.
That's right.
Together spinning. They walk into the fog, blind to what lies ahead. Misery or beauty, the same, slogging through the mud of existence. What fate, what return, what light shines in their heart? Is it hope that pulls the shades open, or concern for who will feed the cat? We are here, together, spinning in our orbits. Inhale, exhale. This is life, feeling gravity's pull, dreaming of flight. Here it comes. Welcome to tomorrow. It happens. Ready or not, the future becomes us. Despite our resistance, this spinning blob of dirt and rock, perpetual in appearance, flings us around, and we make up reality to dull the dizzy nausea. Every now and then, reaching our fingers down, deep, into the soil, stable, solid, make it stop. Dust. Pick up this, put down that, walk here, run there, eyes open, spark of joy, shining ray of sunshine, reflected on dust diamonds, drifting endlessly through the ether between the up, down, sideways glance, reality. Enlightenment comes in rivulets from snowmelt. Touch the new grass blade. It rises to meet the warmth, returning, spreading throughout the plain. Thaw stiff bones, creaking into tomorrow's petty pace. One more?
Sure.
Dish it.
Movement of life. This life moves in ways we are unable to control, taking us through heaven and hell. You are there on the sofa, and I can't touch you. You laugh at a movie, but I see you crying inside. There was love, there was life. We created life beautiful. We embodied love, and now it is spent. Now you struggle to just be my friend. This life, wrapped in past experience, past emotion, takes and takes every breath until the last. We are unable to control the outcome of our desires, of our longing. It is pointless and trivial, yet we breathe. We reach for tomorrow and hope that it will be stronger than today, that it will show us purpose, meaning, value. And each flight of the sun, flight of the moon, brings us more confirmation of our fragility. Thank you.
It is totally true that every single one of those things is an original work of art. Because seriously, I mean, I know that you're like, what? You do it out of grocery store bags, but some of them they'll have label things on them and they'll choose printing on them, and each one printed on is totally differently, and totally different when it's done. It's really, really awesome looking, I think so. So I'm just sharing with you my humble opinion. But now I have to talk about a phenomenal, you haven't even yelled about this one yet. Give it up for Marianne Schaefer. Who's gonna be a great yeah! It's gonna be a great feature. There's some stuff going on. How crazy everyone is going to be, and now she's like, what? Oh no, I wasn't saying that your feature was up yet. I was just going to tell everybody to give you money.
No, it sounds like you
That's the first time I ever mentioned. I wasn't introduced. Oh, well, would you?
Give the money.
Yeah.
That's just what. And I was like, I just started, have a seat, because you're gonna. Unless you're dying to like read right now, I was gonna give you.
I have to use it.
And this is why I said I'm like 11. What money do I have in here? I'm gonna throw stuff in, and I'm going to pass it around, and just remember to not hand it to that awesome feature lady. I'm gonna pass it to you and start passing it around, because she apparently isn't worth it, because just listen to that screaming craziness. Oh my gosh. And Oroki's like, wait, I thought I was going up next. And yes, you are. I usually will do a shout out for my features throughout, because they deserve to get your life savings, really. Especially.
Yeah.
No, I'm dead serious. But I was actually thinking about it. I have a series of books that are going to be released, because people, I've released a poetry book. Well, I haven't done that in a long time, but I've got a lot of stuff. So I thought what I would do is release a bunch of little books, and one of them, which will be right around in June when I have a feature in June here, is going to be 100 haikus, a bunch of haikus. But there are some that aren't going to make it in. There are some that I'm just like, nah, I'm just not going to have them in. So I thought I would read them. Because you might think, oh, that's a funny one or interesting or whatever, and I'll just throw them in between pieces. And they're all like, hey, give money, give money. Awesome. So before Oroki comes up, I'm going to, because I'll do this one, this seems appropriate because I just did a lovely piece for John. This is a haiku called Forever.
Forever?
Forever.
Forever.
I rub your feet. You are grateful. If only I could do this forever. Forever. Anyway, I'm like, I'm just going to get those out of the way, because now that she's been applauded, please give it up for Oroki Rice, who's got a feature in the anime. Give it up for Oroki.
I have a chapbook coming out in May this year. I broke my tooth. I'm unemployed too, and I broke my tooth. So anybody know a dentist wants to do pro bono dentistry, I'm open to that. This piece is called The Rose. Was she a lily, a magnolia, or a rose? I suspect she was a vine. I met her through a mutual acquaintance. They'd been lovers once. It was over. She was a teacher, a writing teacher at that. We were on a women's retreat. She suggested we take a walk through the woods. The night was crisp, the sky was clear, and I was scared. Now, I have a lot of lesbian friends, and I know you don't become a lesbian by association. I know that most lesbians aren't out to convert straight women into lesbians. But as we walked in silence, I sensed that she was doing something to me. Or was I doing something to her? Were we doing each other? By any means, I was scared. The weekend was over and I didn't think much about what happened. She found me later. She invited me to her home to talk about writing. I think I should have known better. We sat in her beautiful art-filled home with crystals bouncing rainbows off the walls. I could have left, but I didn't. The sun went down. She lit candles and incense. I was high, without any alcohol or drugs. She didn't touch me, but I was touched. I should have left, but I didn't. We planned a trip back to the same retreat center in the woods. Once we arrived, I asked myself, what the hell are you doing, Oroki? We were the only ones on the vast property. Sunday, as we brought our belongings into the cabin, I asked myself where we'd sleep. There were 2 bedrooms. I didn't want to sleep with her, but I was not sure what I'd do if she asked me to. She put her stuff in one of the bedrooms first, and I put my stuff in the other. That night, we sat on the porch that overlooked the lake, watching the night sky. I was scared to talk, scared to listen. I was scared of what she might say and scared of how I might respond. She went into the shower. I went for a walk, hoping that she'd be asleep when I returned. She wasn't. I was scared to shower, scared to come out when I finished. Eventually, she went to her bed and I went to mine. I felt relieved. During the night, I woke up to her standing over me. Oh my God, what do I do now? She said you were coughing in your sleep, so I brought you a glass of water. Thanks, I said, and she went back to her room. The next morning, she rose before the sun came up. I'm a late riser. She stopped into my room to tell me that she was headed to the meditation lodge. She told me, not asked me, to come there when I woke up. I've been there before. It's called Grace in the Woods. It's high above the lake, a spectacular view. Spirits live there. They meet you as you enter. I didn't know how not to go there when I woke up. I'd forgotten that she does Tai Chi and yoga. When I entered the lodge, she was naked. I mean naked. Oh my God, she was naked. Really naked, with her leg wrapped around her neck. She was beautiful, a goddess. I was too scared to look too close. So I went to the altar and I prayed. Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, and other gods I don't even know the names of. Please, please do not let me look at her. I didn't want to see her. When I could finally breathe again, I sat down and I practiced my yoga, which I had not used in over 20 years. I pretended that it was not unusual for me to be in the woods with a naked woman who was doing things to me, twisting her leg over her shoulders. She knew better. She sat on her royal purple embroidered yoga mat, crossed her legs, still naked. I stared out at the lake. She patted the mat and told me to sit down on it. I took a closer look. She had laid beautiful stones and crystals all around it. I knew if I were to sit on that magic carpet of a yoga mat, I would be totally under her spell. That which I was grasping would no longer be my choice. So I moved close, but not on the mat. We both sat silently, gazing out into the lake. She was very good at sitting silent. I had no idea that I had the capacity to do so. She broke the silence with, "Tell me what you want, Oroki." I looked at her, pretending not to understand. She asked again. I offered some lame excuse like, "I really want to truly live." She looked at me and whispered, she always spoke softly, "You can have anything you want." Now, I was a married woman and I knew that I couldn't have anything I wanted, at least not with some consequences. Plus, I was not sure that I wanted what she was offering.
Okay.
She knew that, and she broke the spell for now. Nothing happened. We went back home. Over the next month, she courted me as any man had ever. She turned me on to a lakeside restaurant that had the best greens I've ever eaten. We went to a boat tour on Navy Pier. She makes a movie of the rain, and we watched raindrops. Now imagine me, as high-strung as I am, watching a movie of raindrops. She's a photographer, and she took the most intriguing pictures at my birthday party, still never pressuring me for anything. But I was no dumb schoolgirl. Even though we never spoke of my life at home, she knew that I was deeply discontented. September 11, 2001 arrived. The Twin Towers went down. A few days later, my family received some news that knocked down our seemingly strong towers. I shared my despondency with her. She listened. She told me that I should speak to another lesbian friend about what was going on. My lesbian friend said, if you don't want what she's offering, leave that woman alone.
Okay.
If you're not ready to commit, back off. But I was sad, and I needed comfort. I ached inside and out. She was waiting. She seemed to be very good at waiting. We arranged another trip to the hideaway in the woods. This time, I insisted on driving my own vehicle. Again, we were there alone. Still reeling from the news that had been heaped upon my family, I was oppressed with grief and I had no energy. I could only sit around and stare out into space. The beautiful lake did not interest me. I knew that I would not let her get any closer. She knew it too. The spell had been permanently broken. Before we left, we went up to the rooftop and offered prayers to the four directions, to the ancient ones whose land we occupied, to our mothers who were now ancestors, whose spirits guided us from day to day. As I drove back home alone, still broken, still deeply sorrowed by the severe burden my family was to bear, I knew that entwining my heart with the spirit of this woman was not the answer. She portrayed herself to me as a flower, a lily, a magnolia, a rose. But I could see now that she was a vine grown wild, seeking to suck the essence of me. Thank you.
That's just a taste of what you get for an awesome feature come April, because there's a bunch of cool people that are featured in the feature, and I will tell you about them after our phenomenal feature this evening. Some people are going to know that I publish things with Scars Publications, CC&D Magazine, Down the Dirt Magazine. You just tasted CC&D Magazine. We just released a mini book from CEE called The 5 Stages of Macbeth, which has poems in it, and it starts with an intro and outro piece of prose, and they're really awesome, these little things. And I always have to say, hey, we published crap, so yay, that's what I've done. I guess, because I'm not going to read anything from it. You'll just have to go buy it or check it out online, because Scars Publications does chapbooks, and they do books, and they do all sorts of crazy stuff. So if you're ever interested, Scars.tv is the place to go check that out. And before, I was thinking about it. Hey, I was thinking they'd say 2J night, because I've got Jerry Pendergast. This is going to be coming later on this evening. But we actually have a 2 Jerry evening, because the Next Up on the Mic is going to be Gerry Reynolds. But I was going to read a little, you can go walking this way, Jerry, that's awesome. I was going to, because I said I had these haikus that I wasn't going to do, but put in a book, but I said, what the hey, I'll just read them now, because I'm not going to go in a book. And for some reason, I thought I would do this one, and it is called Over.
Over.
Tired of dying for your sins over and over. Who's your Messiah? Come on up here. Give it up for Gerry Reynolds.
I would like to wish a happy Valentine's Day, not only to everybody in the room, but to all of the true lovers everywhere. I have been rewarded by a Hallmark moment. You find it funny? It happened before I was born, and it happened before my mother was born by over a year and a half. My grandmother, Anna Carney Doyle, received $15. Back in the day, $15 was a lot of money. Because the Hallmark Corporation, who has been trying to inspire everybody to tell other people how much that they love each other, solicited a Valentine's poem, and my grandmother responded. And the money went to help my mother be born safely. And I'm so grateful that that moment happened, because without that I wouldn't be here. I will quote a Hallmark's card, which I have seen again and again. And I really want to share it with everybody in the room. A Valentine can be a kiss, a ribbon or a ring, a candied heart stuck with a dart, or any sort of thing. The present doesn't mean a bit, it's just the outward sign. It's the love that stands behind it. That's the real Valentine. This from a woman who gave birth to my mother, who gave birth to me,
How wonderful.
and who allowed me the opportunity to share it with you. Now, one of mine. Could I just tell one of mine? Okay, here's one of mine. I met my person in the mirror in a 5th Street bar last night. He used to sit across from me, but now was on my right. He spoke, but over my voice, I just couldn't catch his name. He mimicked all my questions, and of course, I did the same. I bought a drink for each of us, and the barmaid spots that changed. When I tried to pay one what I owed, she told me I was strange. My person in the mirror just laughed, reflecting mirthfulness. We bickered and we shouted some, and then we raised our fists. Twin bouncers crept behind us and gave us each a smack. One tossed me out the front door.
I enjoyed that.
Oh my gosh, you're a riot. And you wanted to go one toss the other. And just because, and now I talked about how it was a 2J because of the Jerrys and the 2 Jerry. Well, the 2 Jerrys are going to be back to back, but I just felt I was going to do these last 2 haikus that aren't going into a book. And these had nothing to do with the person, although that was kind of funny with the religion one there. You know, I'm like, but I'm just going to read these. This one is called Rescue. Save me from the burning building, or I'll have to rescue me again. Show one called Rescue. I know, I'm just like, what? What are you doing? That's what I said, like, and this other one, which also has nothing to do with our upcoming poet. This one's called Timing. Just when you feel hope, then they take it quickly. It's all in the timing. Exactly. Well, there you go. But this is all, now, this is the time for all the time in the world for my darling Jerry Pendergast. Jerry, get it up here, my darling.
Thank you for putting a short guy.
No, he keeps saying that. I'm like taller than everybody. Everybody's short.
Short guy. Hi. This, I touched this up before I left, but this is called For Henry Dumas. It's kind of in response to that question that often gets asked in February. What is White History Month? So this is an intersection of some very white history and black history. It's for Henry Dumas, an author that was killed 7 weeks after King in the New York City Transit subway. The moon could not be your witness in a subway station on a May evening. The ink 49 days dry from the King assassination. I think of the question, should I forgive 7 times 7? Did the FBI share a file with the NYC Transit Police? Mm-hmm. A rumor, perhaps, that there really was a club called the Sound Barrier from a short story. Maybe stretched to read that not only can a white person die from listening in the club, but when the Afro horn is played loud enough, it can kill those just walking by. I read you were mistaken for another when he pulled the trigger, dented your body. Should I accept this? Or should I think of the white man yelling through the night in another story of yours to a running black youth? I'm not gonna hurt you, boy. And in that story, the youth kept running. He didn't believe the white man for some reason I'll never figure out. Okay, I mean it is Valentine's Day coming up, so this is called possessive plural. Ex-spouses, boy, girl, friends, circling, drifting, glances from dancers, talkers with drinks in hand, surveying the room, seeking views of exes and their partners, unknown dancers, stepping to a sound current, a long arm raised slowly in the center, legs slowly halt, holding a pose. He's eyeing exes, currents, soon-to-bes, looking for messages from hips, shoulders. Okay, Janet has published this, and she had me read it from a tiny book that she had, and I screwed it up.
Oh,
It is from. John, would you cue that thing up?
Okay, I can read it from either format.
But I'm just showing it off. Don't forget it, and he's got a poem in this.
This is a little bigger print for my not too good eye. It's called Letter to a Stranger, and Janet published it after many people who have no taste rejected it. Okay, Letter to a Stranger. Last night, I sat on the living room rug, watching the all-night movie that flashed upon the wall in this house I have constructed. I grabbed my pistol and sprang to my feet when I heard the trap door creak. You rose from the basement, drew me toward you with your crystal medallion. I laid down the pistol, took another step forward, but you slid back into the basement and locked the trap door. I shifted my eyes back to the wall. A quintet on stage. I swayed gently to a guitar solo. Lead singer stepped back to the mic. Her medallion had a crystal stone. I turned off the projector, but the images remained. Her voice, or was it your voice, still in my head. I tried to call you, but the wires connecting my town with yours had all been cut. And the only rent-a-car within 30 miles went out of business just a few days ago. No train or bus station near you. But it doesn't really matter. Even if my words reached your ears, they would only dissolve before they seeped inside. I know I may never drive you out of the basement, but I won't spend another week building monuments to connections no longer working. Thank you.
Well, this woman just walked up. Dun, dun, dun. And she's still all talky with people. And hey, John, you should show up a cover of CC&D because it happens to have artwork from Oz Hardwick on it, and she might give a crap about it. But although she'll see it later because she's done work with Oz Hardwick as well, and she is going to be our final, as far as I know, open mic over this evening before our phenomenal feature from Marianne Schaefer. Give it up for Marianne Schaefer. And now I can have to applaud idiotically like that again. Give it up for Robin. Fine. Yeah, there are microphones everywhere.
Hi everybody.
Hey, Robin.
I gotta tell you something really cool. And this has to do with Oz Hardwick. One of the poems I actually did for Beast Woman is being published in a European journal called Dreamcatcher. And he sent me my copy. It's for January, so I'm very excited.
Congratulations, Adam.
It's wonderful. That's what we did for Beast Woman last season, so I'm pretty psyched.
Very excited.
Marianne, work has been kicking my butt, and I've been sick, so I just pulled out some sexy stuff.
All right.
It's old, but it's still sexy. A first kiss, the seal of a promise of lingering, of longing, of lasting, the greeting of tongues and lips and mouths and teeth. No pretense of fairy tale, just hard and dirty. An invitation to surrender to lust, to draw blood, and soft anticipation transforms into liquid whimsy, a slippery taste to coat the roof of her mouth, unspoken conversation between fingertips and blush of cheek. His hands will moan her into pleasure. She longs to be kissed at right angles, tattooed with his tongue. Incomplete sentences, I love you, strewn across her throat. His arms will brand creases into smiles between thigh and breast. Sandpaper tongue carves desire into flesh. His stain will quench her mouth. Lips flower orchids or maybe cactus needles, leaving scars painted into each breath. Body parts spin, pheromones into orgasms. This first kiss, bound by lust, a prize to be claimed.
All right, go ahead.
Well.
Well.
This is just something that I wrote when I was writing out last year. I get tired of begging for what I just don't know. Hands looking for something to undress, bound by invisible handcuffs, infatuated with the promise of burn. We just can't help ourselves, embedded in DNA. We live in castles built on sand, unsure-footed. We pray not to drown, and I want to draw blood. If only it'll make you stay. February 22nd. If you guys don't know Cotton, Softly Spoken, she's having an amazing Valentine's Day show called Winter Love. And Let Them Make Chocolate, and I'm one of the people that's going to be doing it.
All right.
Sexy
What time?
Moms. Starts at 7:30.
Okay.
It's free, but the cost is you get to buy one of the really cool, sexy books that either GPA or Cotton is selling, and it's an amazing chocolate shop. I know you guys have been there. It's an amazing
Wonderful.
shop. And so it's going to be a very hot night. Holly Beaudry is another one performing. A lot of really cool people. It's going to be very hot and very
Sounds
sexy.
fun.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you, Robin. And I think at this break, because we're going to then have a little break before our phenomenal feature, but I thought that I would show off the other magazine that I run. I happen to love CC&D magazine because it was started in '93, and that's my baby since I started it. And Down in the Dirt was originally an offshoot of CC&D, and it started in 2000, and I really never thought that much about it, and it's just stuff I put, but it's really actually kind of cool. It's got a bunch of really cool stories, and everybody loves the name Down in the Dirt. And oh my God, I just realized that the artwork on the cover of this one, I pulled the strings, I've been talking about it like mad. This is actually photography from John Yatko for this light bulb bar, and I'm like, that's an awesome thing. It's at this cool bar, he took this shot of this light bulb, and I'm like, that's awesome. And I'm talking all this praise about it. I'm like, wait, what the hell? He's the guy that did the artwork for it. But I thought that this one, which is I'll put something of mine in right at the absolute end, and I thought this would be a great way to end the night before a 5-minute break before our phenomenal feature. This is called Human Construct of Time. Is this the best of times? Is this the worst of times? Or is this just one of those times? Only humans understand time. Where did all the time go, we ask? Time slips away as we search for ways to avoid looking old, to avoid death. If I ever saw God, I'd have to ask, how old are you? How much longer do you just sit there, observe? But time is a human construct, I have to remind myself as I sit and think at times like these. Human construct of time, John, thank you. Because that's what we are, we're all down in the dirt. Oh yeah, and you get a little break, or a little reprieve 5 minutes before you get a phenomenal